stand still. The trees ahead and the bushes beside you are not lost. Wherever you are is called here, and you must treat it as a powerful stranger, must ask permission to know it and be known. The forest breathes. Listen. It answers, I have made this place around you. If you leave it, you may come back again, saying, here. No two trees are the same to Raven. No two branches are the same to Wren. If what a tree or bush does is lost on you, you are surely lost. Stand still. The forest knows where you are. You must let it find you. Displaced by darkness, you lie flat on your back, putting the world behind you, and stare at the moon, the embarrassing moon, with nothing to offer it, no ebb or flow, no wolfish transformations, except this lunacy you keep to yourself. After that moment, when you've lost all reason for going back to where you started, when going ahead is no longer a yes or no, but a matter of fact, you'll need to weigh, on the one hand, what will seem, on the other hand, almost nothing, against something slightly more than nothing, and must choose again and again, at points of fewer and fewer chances to guess when and which way to turn. That's when you might stop thinking about stars and storm clouds, the direction of wind, the difference between rain and snow, the time of the day or the lay of the land, about which trees mean water, which birds know what you need to know before it's too late, or what's right here under your feet, no longer able to tell you where it was you thought you had to go. Time off for good behavior. Of course it stops if you lie down in the dark. Your heart unburdens itself as gladly as you, taking small comfort from what you managed to dream, not beating since you're no longer there to listen at the cage bars of your breastbone. Why should it throb all night without you, all day telling itself its time is passing away? It counted on you to be different, not the grudging and bloody-minded, skin-tight jailer making his rounds, jangling his keyring. But you did nothing new to persuade it. Hearts must earn their keep in the night to be pardoned someday, forgiven, even given away for good to someone. So it waits for that moment when you fall asleep, off guard. Then it stops cold. A poet writes the history of his body, where it went, what it came back to, where and why It laid itself down and tried to sleep. What happened to it without advice or consent? What it failed at? How it disobeyed its own commands to no purpose? What it held in its hands when it was told and told to let go? What it neglected to open its arms for? How it wouldn't stand still, not even when it might as well have had no legs at all to be running away with, or the times when it would sit and wait without knowing what it was waiting for in places where it didn't belong. How it broke down, how, but not why, it made marks again and again on pieces of paper. You should stay alive as often as possible and keep yourself open to anything out of place and everything with nowhere else to go. To carry what's left of your voice out and beyond, into, over and under, past, within, outside, between, among, across, along, and up and around, and to be beside yourself when the Spirit moves you. They show us more often than not how to die, at the same time and in more ways of doing both, of taking the first out of the heart of the other and spreading it around. We'd have to dance beforehand, anywhere else but here, where rain is already happening. How simple it all seems to persuade the gods to bring their heaven down, to shower us with that most comfortable answer to a prayer. Results before the fact. When given a place to wait, it fills that place by taking the shape of what it contains. Its upper surface poised and level, absorbing, accepting what it can as lightly or heavily as it does itself. If pressed down, it will offer back in all directions everything it was given. If chilled, it will shatter, daylight, and whiten to stars, will harden and sharpen, and turn unforeseeably dazzling. Neglected, it will disappear, being transformed and lifted into thin air, or thrown away, it will gather with other water, which is all one water, and rise and fall, regather, and go on rising and falling the more quickly its path descends, and the more slowly as it wears that path away, to be left a while, to stir for the moon, to wait for the wind, to begin again. In case of snow, drifting towards winter, don't try to stay awake through the night. Afraid of freezing, the bottom of your mind knows all about zero. It will turn you over and shake you till you waken. I'm up. I didn't flounder, skid sloppily to a stop, or hesitate just a little too long down there on the level in the earthbound company of trees and been snagged there with the rest of the poor groundlings, hung up for good. But here I am, up, and have been for a respectable while, with a privileged look at what it was like to be down there, a barely visible speck of living matter among vegetable and mineral matters of fact. And now I have to go back down, like it or not, because everybody else who's tried to stay up here hasn't. They've all found out that staying above it all is just as improbable as being above themselves. And I know if I lessen my impulse forward, fall short of keeping the distance between me and the earth, I'll make an end to this flighty behavior. And if I insist on trying to flap and flap a little higher, till nothing occurs to me by choice, till nothing remains except for a last quick chance to memorize the sky, I'll go plummeting down, not having learned or changed enough in the breathless, giddy meanwhile to justify having been lighter than air. The other kinds of voices that cry in the wilderness were much too numerous for Isaiah to mention then, concerned, as he must have been, with the coming of his Lord. The desert had heard it all before, the cracked lips croaking, "Help," or, "For God's sake, water," or maybe forecasting disasters or doom again. But for those lost in the woods, which is also a wilderness, a shout is a warning, meaning, "Here I am, stay away." And even singing or talking announces personal space and a claim of territory. And whistling, squealing, and crying are dangerous, strange attractors that call all predators to come to the chaos now, to join in the consumption and quick reorganization of a living organism, namely, what used to be you. Stand still. The forest knows where you are. You must let it find you.